Welcome. This is our fourth workshop that is based on yoga and meditation and breathing and song and stories and imagination. So we are so happy that you're joining us today. Our element is the element of fire. Now, when you first think of fire, you might think of it being very destructive. Because in California, of course, our fires burn our forests down and houses to go with it. And it's very destructive. But fire is also a force of change. It causes us to bring change and to deal with change. And fire, even when it burns things down, it purifies. It breaks the minerals and the other aspects of what it burns, so it releases them, and ground becomes even more fertile, even around volcanoes. So that is a very plus sign. So fire, I would say, is a little bit like a yin and a yang. It's got one part that is very destructive and ruins our lives, or changes them for sure, and it has another part which actually gives us new beginnings. It purifies. It even clears away disease sometimes, which you'll learn about later. So fire is the yin-yang of our lives and something that we want to work with. Also, think of fire as warming us in terms of fires in the winter, cozy, hot chocolate, and candles that we light. I have a candle right here that really is very much a sign of hope. And I know that Gandhi is one of the people that said that one candle can light 1,000 candles. And so each of us, the brighter our light, we can light the light within others and strengthen it. We also cook with fire, and fire breaks things down. It allows us to digest meat and other such things that we might cook in a more effective way for our bodies. So fire. Now I want to just bring up astrology. Now this is not a workshop on astrology, but I think it's fun for all of us to know our signs, just for the fun or maybe more serious aspects of it. And I'd like you to tell me, raise your thumb, if you are a fire sign. Now if you don't know, fire signs are Leo and Aries and Sagittarians. So if you are one, these are the traits that astrologer Linda Joyce says belong to all those fire signs. Fire is inspiration. So inspirational people, passionate people, warm people, idealistic people, inventive people, and also people who are somewhat impatient and flare up. But we love them anyway. And in this room, I know of 2 people at least that are fire signs. Now, we'd like to begin with a song connected to fire in the most curious of ways. Paul has selected this particular song, and he'll explain it to you.
Thank you, Susan. This is a song that Harry Belafonte used to sing years ago. And I learned this song also years ago, but I never quite understood the song, because the singer is saying that I'm not going to get married in the fall, even though he's in love with a pretty little girl who wears a diamond ring. Well, you would think it's all set up. But then recently I really figured it out, that the diamond ring was not given to the girl by him. It was given by somebody else, because he himself was just a poor country boy, and that's the name of the song, Country Boy. And he just doesn't have the money for it. So it's a very sad song of long lost love. And so it's a sad thing. But he does have some compensation, because he has silver in the stars and gold in the morning sun. And the morning sun, of course, is a fire out there in space. And that is the very feeble connection to the topic of fire.
And he has fire in his heart.
He has fire in his heart. Okay.
Yes.
Now, when I'm thinking of songs, I'm thinking that a song is really a trio. That's the way I think of a song, as a trio. It's a trio between the lyrics, the words, the melody, and the accompaniment. I think it's a very equal triangle. And I particularly like the accompaniment I've got for this song. It's got a lovely sort of lilt to it, but it's also got this part in it. Ba, 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 ba. And that keeps coming around and around. You'll hear it in the song, especially in the chorus part. Country boy. I ain't gonna marry in the fall, and I sure ain't gonna marry in the spring, 'cause I'm in love with a pretty little girl who wears a diamond ring, 'cause I'm just a country boy. Money have I none, but I got silver in the stars and gold in the morning sun, gold in the morning sun. Never gonna kiss those ruby lips of the prettiest girl in town. Never gonna ask her to be my wife, 'cause I know she'd turn me down. 'Cause I'm just a country boy. Money have I none, but I got silver in the stars and gold in the morning sun. Ba-dum, ba-dum, gold in the morning sun. Never could afford a store-bought ring with a sparkling diamond stone. All I could afford was a loving heart, the only one I own. 'Cause I'm just a country boy. Money have I none, but I got silver in the stars and gold in the morning sun. Oh yes, I have gold in the morning sun.
Thank you so much. This is one of the advantages of being married to a musician, is that you get to have those extra moments of that music floating up to your bedroom while he's practicing. For 15 years of my main life, I was a dance movement specialist working nationally for the National Endowment for the Arts in a school program called Artists in Schools. And this was dance being presented to all different states and territories. And I was one of 25 dance movement specialists that traveled and lived there for 2 to 6 weeks, working with the children and working with the teachers and showing them how to relate dance to the other areas of their curriculum, as well as use it as a means of self-expression. Well, I was lucky, very lucky, to be invited 2 years to go to the islands of Hawaii. And on one occasion, I was on the island of Oahu at Barbers Point Elementary School, working with very much local children. And those children in the 5th grade at that time studied Hawaiiana, which was a study of their culture and their geography and the legends and all the aspects of Hawaiian culture. Well, it was very exciting, and I, of course, had to read and learn a lot about the legends. And I became very, very acquainted with the great Pele, the goddess of the volcano, particularly the volcano on the island of the Big Island, Hawaii, Kilauea. But she was considered the great goddess of fire. She was very powerful, and even she had tears when she became sad that were these beautiful kind of brown, translucent rocks, tears of Pele. Well, we picked one of the legends, and we started, through my guidance, dancing the parts and telling the story through dance. And the class unanimously picked a young, shy girl in the class who had long, black hair, almost to her knees. It was very powerful, very beautiful, and they decided she had to dance the role of Pele. Well, for 2 weeks we worked on this, and we were ready to perform it. And at that time, the head of the National Endowment for the Arts was visiting Hawaii, and they suggested that he might enjoy seeing this legend come to life through dance. So on the morning of the performance, we're all set with our music, our costumes, our class, the parents, the director. Everything was set, except we couldn't find Pele. I couldn't find Pele because there was no one with long hair in the class. And I looked and I saw this young girl crumpled over in the corner, just slumped down in deep sadness. And it was Pele. The day before the performance, her parents had decided to cut all of her hair off, and she had an inch of hair all over her head. And she said, "I cannot dance, Pele. I don't have the power anymore. It was in my hair." And as disappointed as I was, I had to convince her that the power was not in her hair. Rather, it was in her heart. It was in her spirit. And she had it in her to dance the power of the volcano goddess, Pele. Well, with the support of the class and the teachers and her mom, we got her to stand up and give her all to her interpretation of this important legend. And she did. And I would say she did a fabulous job. Not quite at the explosive level that she had reached with that long hair, but it was pretty close. I think she nailed it. Now that's the end of that story. But there's one other little tidbit that I think is pretty interesting, and that is Pele has a sister who is called Hi'iaka. Hi'iaka is the goddess of lightning, another fire goddess. Now, I think it doesn't escape anyone that both these goddesses were goddesses, not just gods, and they were women. And so I'm just suggesting that you really take people of fire signs seriously. So now we're going to get in touch with our bodies. And the very first thing that we do in a yoga class is touch down with our breathing. Our breathing is called our prana or pranayama. It's also our life force. If you realize that if you are not breathing, you are not alive. So breath is the life force in our body. The more we can understand our breath and work our lungs to our great benefit, the healthier we will be. And so I'm going to start you out with a 4-part breathing. It's quite simple, except for one thing. In yoga, we ask that people, for most of the time, breathe in through their nose. They inhale through the nose, they pause, and they exhale through the nose. So you don't inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth like you might in other forms of exercise. So we're going to breathe in for 4 counts, hold the breath, our lungs filled with air for 4 counts, then exhale for 4 counts, and then we will hold our emptiness for 4 counts. And we'll do that 8 times. This will give us a very substantial warm-up. Here we go. And breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Third time, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3. Number 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3. Number 5, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3. Round 6, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3. Try the last 2 on your own, and inhale. One more. And hold. Take some recovery breaths. That means you just breathe any way you need to just find balance again. All right, so now we're going into a very simple yoga practice that you can do seated, standing, or in chairs, your choice. So we're going to start with something called half Sun Salutations, or Arda, Surya, Namaskar. And this matches your breath. Follow me, and breathing in, and touch, and just pull the energy down into your heart, and pause. Second one, in, and up, and pause, down, hold, and in, touch, shorten down, hold, and last one, up, gliding down, and hold. Good job. Put your hands on your knees, and we do something at the beginning of many classes called Kundalini Circles. It's like stirring the pot, stirring a pot of stew or soup, where you're blending the ingredients, you're getting it warm. You're just making sure that all parts are really participating. Go the other way. Good. One more, and one more after that. Good. Now you come center. This time, this is undulating. There's 7 chakras. We start with the heart. We lift it, we spill it forward, the throat, the third eye at your forehead, the crown at the top of your head, and then you pull back. Root, sacral, solar plexus, going forward. So think of yourself like an ocean wave, a gigantic ocean wave, and in slow motion. What we're doing is you're getting your body to undulate. You're finding all the curves of your body, and you are opening them up for better communication to every part of your body. 2 more. So 1 more after this. And coming up and spilling forward. Last one, and then coming up. All right, good job. So this time, shoulders up and down. Just feel the tension. Increase it and then release it. Increase it, release it. Bring your arms out to your arms, to your shoulders, I should say. And this time, bring your arms together and out. So now you're just opening some of the muscles in your chest and back area. And last one, and here. Now, can you tilt and look up at that elbow, then come down, and then tilt and look at the elbow, and come down, tilt, yes, tilt, Now come forward and now just circle. So with our elbows bent, we have the advantage of warming up our shoulder without going the other way, without straining the joint with weight. Now, can you rotate and twist? So you just want to see if you can get your body side to side. Yeah? 1 more. And hold. And then bring your arms down. Take your hands. You have some choices. You can clasp them and keep the palms facing you. You can hook the thumbs either way, or you can try the full pose, which is to turn your hands inside out. And now this time you press forward and you feel as if you are inside of a ball inside of a round ball, going up to the back, going center and here, and now one time. So we're really stretching our arms. Keep it up, and now pull off to the side. You're just like a bell, but keep your arms straight if you can. Go this way, good, that's it, and this way. Now come center and now open and let your arms float down. So we're doing essential movements of the spine. So this time we're going to lateral. We're warming up the sides of our body. Now, the whole point in practicing our breathing is so you can breathe with the movement. Now, this time, breathing out and over, but this time can you twist it and look down at the ground? And then can you come up and here? And take the other one, coming up and over. Yes, and here. Arms out this time, and now just drop, circle. Drop, circle. Drop, circle. Drop, circle. And hold. Let's just do a couple of things with our neck. Take your head and just look side and center and side and center. What you want is a full 180 degrees if you can, but you never ever want to force your neck. Now this time just see if you can roll it. These are called head rolls. You roll it, you lift, breathe in, and then you breathe out. Now, one round each side, seeing if you can circle your head in all directions. And coming center, go the other way. And hold. Good job. Now, this time, I want to just give you the image of a marionette, a puppet on strings that a puppeteer uses and pulls the strings. I want you to feel like you're being held up by a puppeteer. And then each part of your body, the strings are going to let go, and you're going to collapse and go down to the ground. See if you can take a big breath while you're there. Now, the puppeteer is going to pull you up, and you feel the strings, and you get that feeling of suspending. I want you to do it 3 more times. And drop, 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 and hang. Breathing in, and breathing out. And come up, 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 and hold. Twice more in your own timing. Just do it, and really don't hold back. Let your body feel totally like a puppet, marionette. Last one. Drop down, 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 down. And come up, 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 up. Great. And hold. All right, this time what I'd like you to do is to take one leg. And if you're on the floor, you can do this on your back, or you can do this standing. Go the other way, just keeping that hip going. Good. Get the other leg and go this way. Yes. Good. You're just warming up the hip joint. Now, you're picking it up, and you're just going to circle the ankle. You want to get the ankle really going. And then go the other way. The ankle. The ankle. Good. And hold. And then if you are sitting, just running in place a little bit. And if you're sitting down, go on your back and do this shaking or circling or running in place with your feet in the air. Or you can do it standing, however you want. Good job. Okay, so I want you to take your arm out to the side. We're going to do something that has the qualities of a swing. So I want you to drop like a swing and lift. Drop and go the other way. Just drop it. Now notice I'm dropping my head as well. So I am drop and lift and drop and lift. And now I want to see if I can circle it and then go half again. And then just circle it the other way and going half. Bring it down. Try some of that on this side. We're just kind of getting used to what the swinging quality is. A drop, suspend, and drop, suspend, and drop, suspend, and drop, suspend, and drop, suspend. Now just circle it all the way around. Circle and go to the suspend part, and then circle it the other way, and go to suspend. Okay, we're just going to try it with both arms, and then we'll put it together. So put your legs further apart. I don't know if you can see my legs, but they're more wide now. My feet are turned out. Now, I'm not sinking in my chair trying to do it this way. I am sitting on the edge of my chair more so that it's just my hips and my legs are free, arms out. So we go in, we go out. We circle round, and then we go in. Now we start again, out and in, full circle and a half. Okay, we're going to do the whole thing. One arm, other arm, both arms twice. Ready? And go cross. And out, full circle and a half. Drop, lift, and circle and a half. Other side. One, and out, and circle, and cross. Going out, going in. Just keep with us if you're having trouble. Don't worry about it, just learn. In and out. Be willing to make mistakes. Circle and in and out and in and circle. That one more time. And go in and out. Now full circle and in and out and in. Full circle and out. And hold. Just bring your hands to your heart center. That's called Kundalini Mudra. Now, we're going to do one thing for the end, and that is that we are going to do what we call sitting Sun Salutations. So it's a little different. It's built on what we began with, but let me show it to you. In fact, the two women do it with me. Have your feet parallel, slightly apart, and we come in, we look up. Now this time, instead of sliding down, we turn our hands out, and we flatten our back. And then we roll our hands like down the sides of our leg, like we're a waterfall. Now, we're going to take a breath in and bring our hands to our knees and breathe in, and then we're going to glide down again, out. And now with one huge swoop, like you're a bird taking off, down and hold. Let's do it one more time, and then we'll do it for the final piece. And in and up. Now, this, you feel like you're going through cheesecake or something. You want some resistance. And roll down. And breathing in, flat back. And breathing out. Now, sweep the arms up. Touch, gliding down. And hold. Okay, we're going to end this section by doing that. But first, let's just get your hands. Just make sure that you've got lots of release in through your fingers. Let's just shake a foot, shake your other foot, shake everything together. And here we go. Final piece of our physical part of the workshop. Hands to your heart center. Anjali, which means heart. Mudra, which means hand position. And breathing in and up. Press forward and roll down your legs. Hang. Now, come up to your knees and lengthen. Breathe in and release. Breathe out and sweep the arms. Remember, you're trying to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Pause. Second round. In and up and forward and release. And breathing in and lengthen, breathing out. Hang and sweep the arms. 2. You have 2 more, so you can do it in your own timing, or you can stay with us. I'm not going to call it, I'm just going to do it this round. And one final one. See if you can do it with your eyes closed, maybe, if you're more secure about it. Thank you. That was really well done.
The biggest fire I know is the sun. I'm not a sun worshipper, but I'm definitely a sun appreciator. And I'm so grateful when it comes up every morning. This is the same view 5 times over, taken by Fred, my brother-in-law, at his house in Orange County. He has a weather station there, and he loves to take sunrises. What an amazing variety of looks. If only he had a really good telephoto lens, he could check out solar flares. As you know, each tiny star is a massive sun. This is a photo taken by my friend Clive, outside his home in Kangaroo Valley. Guess where that is? Obviously, with a corny name like that, it's in Australia, 3 hours outside of Sydney. Living in LA, a night sky like this is something I really miss. Clive loves to stay up late when he's hiking in the Sierras and paint trees by shining colored lights on them. He calls it light painting, and that gnarled skeleton of a tree is an ancient bristlecone pine, a species that's among the oldest living things on the planet. Clive explained to me why the fires in Australia have been so bad and how they create their own weather. This diagram shows you what goes on. On the bottom left, you see the fire itself. That's number 1. Number 2, the plume rises into the sky and cools, forming number 3, a cloud. Over there on the right, we have a thunderstorm forming, and down below, a strong downburst feeds more air back to the fire. Then the leading edge of the thunderstorm produces lightning that starts yet another fire further downwind. In the city, of course, it's even worse. The fire of London. Growing up in England, I missed this one by a few hundred years. I also missed the Great Plague. You know the little poem that helps you remember those dates? In 1665, scarcely a man was left alive. In 1666, London town was burnt to sticks. Samuel Pepys wrote about it in his diary and tells of the Lord Mayor, Sir Thomas Bloodworth, who initially thought the fire was nothing. Pish, he famously remarked, a woman could piss it out. Very rude man. And he was wrong about that. It destroyed 80% of his city. But I'm told it did manage to end the Great Plague. I think that perhaps man's greatest achievement was in making fire and learning how to control it. That's an important part of it. Nowadays, if you want to put a fire out, we call on our modern-day heroes, our brave firemen. If it's a wildfire, the best thing to do is get a fixed-wing aircraft to drop fire retardant. Or get one of the kind we use around here, the scooper planes. Helicopters can do more accurate drops, but with less water, of course, on each trip. Now, here are some flames you don't want to extinguish. These are the flame towers, a trio of skyscrapers in Baku, Azerbaijan, east of Turkey on the Caspian Sea. This is what they look like in the daytime. Pretty impressive. November the 5th, every year in England, is Guy Fawkes Day, and we celebrate with fireworks. When I was 10 years old, we had a fireworks display at my boarding school, and the next day, my teacher told me to write an essay about it. And I famously wrote, "It's very dangerous to set a rocket off at an angel." This, of course, was before I learned how to spell angle. Set it off at an angle, not an angel. Do I have to explain these jokes? And that's a true story. Volcanoes don't exactly produce fire, but they do produce magma. And when magma surfaces and becomes lava, it's so hot that it burns everything in its path. This is Kilauea in 2018. And when that lava runs into the ocean, it produces a spectacular scene, and tourists in boats sometimes get a little too close. It can spit and throw fireballs at you. Watch this. This is on the big island of Hawaii. That's a lava tree. It's just an empty tube of lava. You know how that happens, right? The lava flows around a tree. The tree cools the lava it touches, so the lava solidifies but destroys the real tree inside and leaves a hollow lava tree. Lava reaching the ocean breaks down and eventually makes handsome beaches. I love this photo. Very white people on a very black beach, probably getting sunburnt. Let's move on quickly. Fire out of control can be terrifying. I don't think this one could possibly be stopped. And what an awful smell from those burning tires as well. Now, here's a famous picture. It was probably static electricity that set off the hydrogen on board the Hindenburg in 1937. An instant ball of fire. A man on the radio was describing the scene. Oh, the inhumanity, it's the worst thing I have ever witnessed. Surprisingly, there were survivors. 97 on board and only 35 lost their lives. Now, some people seem to be able to control a ball of fire. There are fire breathers, fire eaters, and fire dancers. Luckily, humans have learned how to harness fire, just like they harness the other elements that we've been talking about, water and air. Fire can boil water, water makes steam, and steam can drive engines, like these steam locomotives. Sooty, black smoke is an unfortunate side effect. I remember watching trains go by when I was young. I could always tell when the man doing the stoking had put some fresh coal on the fire. That's when a new puff of black soot belched out of the chimney. These are among the 29 massive boilers in the engine room of the great Titanic, kept boiling by over 150 workers, stoking them with coal. There she is on her maiden voyage, the RMS Titanic. That's Royal Mail Ship Titanic, getting close to Nova Scotia, where she met that iceberg. The year was 1912. 2,200 on board, 1,500 lost their lives. But fire and sunlight do have so many uses. Sunlight can silently produce pollution-free electricity with solar panels. And fire is used in ceremonies. This is Gandhi's funeral pyre. I'm including this today because I'm honoring the life of my longtime best friend, Jamil Zakai. Jamil went to school in India, where he and a friend briefly met the elderly Gandhi, who said to them, "Are you being good boys?" "Yes, sir," they quickly replied, and ran away. Jamil passed on just a few weeks ago. I'll close this slideshow with something from the fantasy world. In ancient Greek folklore, a phoenix was a long-lived bird that is able to regenerate itself and be born again. Associated with the sun, a phoenix obtains new life by rising from the ashes of its predecessor. Some legends say it dies in a show of flames before being born again. Susan's going to talk to you more about the phoenix.
I would like to take off from the image of the phoenix that Paul ended his slideshow with. Now, the phoenix bird is a mythical animal, as he suggested to you, and it was in many, many cultures under different names. But the phoenix bird had these various qualities where it existed as a very powerful and beautiful creature, a bird, an ancient bird, which are dinosaurs of sorts, and then it would be able to do magical things, powerful, and then it got very, very mangy. It started losing its feathers, it losing its colors, it got dull, it got old, it got weak, and eventually it exploded into a burst of lightning and fire and just burned up into fine white ashes. And so from there, you would think that was the end, but it wasn't. There was always a regeneration or a rebirth of that bird as a new and vibrant bird to grow into full power. Well, if you think of Harry Potter, and you saw any of the movies in particular, you will remember Dumbledore's office. And there was a bird perch, and on it was his phoenix. And when it was powerful, it was just stunning. And he would send it on important errands, and it dominated with its presence in his office. But then sometimes it would just start losing its feathers and looking very, very helpless. And you begin to wonder what could possibly happen next. And that's when it would burst into flame and repeat that process of becoming fine white ashes and then reemerging again as a new phoenix. So that's the story. The ideas, again, are power, deterioration, transformation, and rebirth. So I'm going to base this particular meditation on you being a phoenix. So would you get you comfortable? Find a place that you can lay down or sit or just relax in a more comfortable way than perhaps you are now. And then I want you to be able to close your eyes. And I'm going to guide you on a journey of your imagination and see what you can create. It's like creating your own home movie, only it's in your brain and only you can see it. I would like you to take a few breaths to start, a few deep breaths that are relaxing, where you breathe in through your nose and maybe even out through your mouth. Just a few sighs, and drop your weight and drop any need to do anything, be anything, or even create anything. Just be relaxed. Another deep breath, and we begin. I'm going to invite you to envision yourself as a phoenix bird. Design your body to appear as you would wish it to, with colors of your choosing, feathers of your choosing. You are quite magnificent, however, quite stunning, quite artistically beautiful, and powerful. After primping and preening for a few moments, you get ready to fly, and you spread your wings, rising and beginning to find the air currents to ride. You float, you soar, you hover, you dive, feeling the power of your essence, the power of your wings, the power of your spirit. You are at the most powerful part of who you are. But challenges have come your way. You have grown weary as you're flying, and a little less confident. Maybe you can't quite see as well when you're looking down. And as time moves forward, your flying becomes a little labored. You feel that you're not quite as strong, you're a little bit weaker. And you can feel yourself fading, becoming less than what you thought yourself to be. But you still can fly, you still can land, and you still can take off. And you still feel a fire burning in your belly. You feel a strong urge to once again be that proud, strong, and colorful bird. the emotional fire within you sparks. It burns. And then you land in a safe place, and you can feel change occurring. In a few moments, you ignite. You burst into flames. Your feathers, your bones, your flesh burst into fires of red and orange and yellow. You appear to be destroyed. You find your spirit floating above a pile of fine white ashes that used to be you. Smoke rising to circle the ashes like a wreath. And at that moment, when all appears to be destroyed, you feel free. Free of fear, free of pain, free of loss, free of fears that you are not enough. Yet, in this moment, something unexpected happens. A new, confident self begins to emerge from the ashes. You feel your strength return. Your feathers reappear in all their glory, sleek and vibrant, colorful. You feel movement in your wings. You begin to lift yourself up. You again take off and then soar, riding once again the airwaves of your life. You feel your true nature emerge. You are again whole and vibrant, confident, and truly yourself. Now, just begin to breathe deeply. Take it easy. You've been working with your imagination, and hopefully you might have a new sense of understanding, of acceptance and compassion for yourself. Maybe. Your disappointments, your dreams, your triumphs are there to remember. You feel purified, however, by the fire. You feel ready to plant new possibilities in your future. The fire is not the end. It may be the beginning. So gently sit up and remember the thoughts you had during this experience. If you had brought a journal or a piece of paper to write on and a pen, pencil, this is the time to get those out. If you did not bring any of those things, don't worry. You can write upon your mind and retain it, and just jot down thoughts, ideas, images for any future development that you want to make of your thoughts. So I have a few prompts. Here's the first one. During this meditation, what thoughts, feelings, or images came up for you? Was there anything that surprised you? Was there anything that distressed you? Do you have any new insights about fire? Fire as a destructive force? Fire as a purifier? Fire as an agent of change. Fire as emotional energy. What within you needed to be rejuvenated? What about your life needed to be or needs to be rejuvenated, if anything? And then finally, what does fire signify to you in your life? Now, with writing, of course, with some people, there's never enough time. With some people, there's far too much time. And with others, it was just right. So wherever you are in that grouping, just set your thoughts aside, and we're going to move on.
So the question is there fire involved with musical instruments? And I would say, generally speaking, no. But I've thought of two instances where fire is definitely involved. And one of them is in African drumming. Now, this is a drum that Susan and I got at the Victoria Falls at the top end of Zimbabwe, in the middle of Africa. And all African drums have leather skins on them, not plastic like we have in this country. And when you want to put a new skin on a drum, what you have to do is you have to soak the skin, get it really wet and soggy. Then you spread it across the top, and then you have to attach it. Now, this particular drum has got pegs. There are pegs every few inches. You can't really see them. And then you dry it, and as you dry it, the skin tightens and becomes playable. Now, in this country, almost all drums have got little metal tightening devices. And using a wrench or something, you tighten those things. They don't have all that technology in Africa, so they have to use pegs and the stretching of the skin. Now, if the drum head is not tight enough, then that's where the fire comes in. Because you make a fire and get it very close to the drum head. Sometimes when you go to a concert, you'll see them with the fires, and you think, oh my gosh, they're going to burn up the drum before they even start to play. But they get the fire very close, they dry it up, get it hot and tight, and then, to make the drum sound just the way they like, they take something like this. Now, this is a piece of beeswax. You know, in a beehive, you've got honey and you've got wax. You take the beeswax and you work it with your hand until it's nice and soft and pliable. Then you stick it on the drum. Well, this could stick if it were hot, and if the drum were hot, it would stick. More often these days, they use this stuff, which does the same job, but it's actually railway engine grease. And smells just fine. You stick it on the drum, and what this is doing is adding extra weight to the drum head. And it's this extra weight on an African drum that gives African drums that characteristic doom, 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 doom sound, that throbbing sound. That's what they do there. I have another drum which is a little bit different. This one also can be warmed up, but they have a different way of attaching the skin. Instead of pegs, they have little leather strips which pull it at both ends tight up. And this drum has a skin at both ends. And inside, listen. You know what they put inside there for good luck? A tooth. That's good luck. So that's why fire is useful in African hand drumming. This is a xylophone. And this is called a log xylophone because you can see underneath there are no resonators. It's just the logs of wood that are making all the sound. And there's ample sound from these notes. Now, this wood is called sneeze wood. And what you do, you take, well, sneeze wood, I should say, is a very hard wood. Technically, it's a hardwood. And it takes years and years to grow. And when it's big enough to make a note, you form the note. And the way you play these things, you hold them up. They're held at various points, and you hit it with a stick. Doesn't sound like much until you take the note and you put it in a fire. Now, they put it in the fire, at the bottom part of a fire, because they're trying to bake it, not burn it. Now, normally, we would use an oven, but in many parts of Africa, people do not have ovens, and so instead, they'll put it in the bottom part of a fire, and to save it from burning, they'll wrap it with a pineapple leaf, and that juicy leaf will save it from burning. So they burn the fire. When the fire is cooled down, they pull out the log, the note, and that's when it starts to ring like a bell. And why it's called sneeze wood is because when you're sanding it with sandpaper or whatever you've got, very fine dust comes off here. And that's what gets in your nose, and that's what makes you sneeze. And that's why it's called sneeze wood, one of the best, most musical woods anywhere in the world. And it makes wonderful xylophone notes. I just think this will be maybe too loud for the microphone. That's fire and musical instruments.
What would a workshop on fire be without breath of fire or fire breathing? This is a traditional, very ancient form of breathing to activate and to strengthen the stomach muscles in the breathing process to really support the lungs. So put your hands on your belly, one on top of the other, and you're going to be aware of the exhale, not the inhale. And I should have told you, maybe if you have a tissue, this might be the moment when you want to blow your nose before you start fire breathing. So take a moment to do that. Now, we're going to breathe very quickly. It goes like this. Out through the nose. Everything is out through the nose. We're just going to do it 8 times, and then we're going to take some recovery breaths. And we'll do this 4 times, 8 times of fire breathing. It's something you really have to build up to. Ready? And. And then take some recovery breaths. Try it again. And recovery. 2 more times. And. And breathe. Last time. And. And recovery breaths. So that really builds and creates fire in your belly.
This is a set of singing bowls. They remind me of church bells. That's the closest thing I can think of in the musical world. And I don't know if you've ever heard church bells ringing outside in the country. And sometimes they have amateur players who don't necessarily play in rhythm. So you'll get ba 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 ba. If they could do that evenly, it would be great. Ba 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 ba. But very often you hear this ba 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 ba, because they can't. It's so tricky pulling those long ropes to get it in exactly the right rhythm. It's really a tricky business. My grandmother was a church bell ringer. And when she retired from the little group she was playing with to go get married, they gave her a present. It was a little bell inscribed to remind her of her years as a bell ringer. So this is the same sort of thing, because it's the same as the bell ringing, because each note you play sustains for a long time. And so unless you deaden it, which you can, it's going to keep ringing for a long time. And that makes for a very confused sound. So what I'm going to do is just improvise on the singing bowls and try to keep it from having too many clashing sounds going at the same time. I've got 7 notes: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and the 8th one we don't have, but it's the same as the octave. That's the octave. All right, some music on a singing bowl collection. Oh, by the way, what you should be listening for is allowing the ringing sound to penetrate your body, because the idea is that these vibrations, like many vibrations, are health-giving. And so allow the sounds to get into your body, and hopefully they'll do great things for you. We never know.
I hope you really enjoyed that. That is one of my most favorite experiences to have, especially when I'm able to relax and I have the time to relax, or after a yoga class, or just even before bed. But I'd like you to get your writing tools out. And that means if you don't have a journal or a piece of paper to jot notes on, or a pen, just use your brain. Just use the slate of your mind. And you can write just with energy to be revisited later. First prompt. What words come to mind to describe the experience for you? And there's no judgment on anything. Anything you feel is exactly what you should put down. There's no must do, must feel, must have. It's just what happened. Now you can stay with that if you have an idea that you're writing about. But prompt 2 is this. What emotions arose for you, if any? What images came to mind, if any? What thoughts or feelings maybe came to your mind? Perhaps an inspiration? Perhaps something you're worried about? Could be anything at all. Just write it down. Put it outside of yourself so you can take a closer look and maybe find solutions or extensions to what you've experienced. And the third one is, did you feel any sensations in your body? If so, where in your body did you feel these sensations? What were the sensations? Did you get any feedback from your body? Like pay attention to your elbow, or I felt my stomach relax. Anything at all, or nothing. And I won't tell, but a few of you might have even fallen asleep. And that's okay too, because this is meant to relax you. And even asleep, your body is healing and trying to retain balance, trying to reestablish balance. So sometime, perhaps you'll be able to experience these in person, where the floor vibrates, the air around you vibrates, and you will get a little bit deeper experience. But this is just a kind of introductory experience into singing bowls that I hope you will pursue.
This is a protest song. I don't often sing protest songs, but I did sing one last month. Here's another one. This one is a protest song against the use of coal. Now, what can you do with coal? Only one thing, I think, and that is burn it. Unless, of course, you want to give it as a Christmas stocking stuffer. Well, burning coal produces bad air. Air pollution. Isn't that what we're trying to fight? This is a song which was written maybe not as a protest song, but as a story about a disaster that happened in a coal mine in Nova Scotia. Now, it was called the Cumberland Mine. It was a coal mine, very deep one, 2 miles deep. And it's in the town of Spring Hill. I keep forgetting that name, Spring Hill. Anyway, this song is what happened when there was a bump one day. That's what they call an earthquake, a polite word for an earthquake, a bump. And it knocked some of the ceilings down in the tunnels underground and trapped more than 100 men down there. They were trapped for quite a while, and 57 of them didn't get out. But some were rescued, and while they were waiting to be rescued, the nice thing about this song is that they sang to keep up their hope and their courage. Now, before I sing this song, Susan's going to do something special.
Well, this is what happened when I heard this song. It's a very hauntingly beautiful song. I was very struck by the terrible situation these miners found themselves in. And then, as I listened to the song, I was trying to find movements that I thought could resemble digging the coal and throwing the coal over your shoulder. And as I started moving, my body memory, my kinesthetic memory, put me in touch with an old folk song I used to teach many years ago. And it's called Tanko Bushi. And it is the Japanese coal miners' dance. So coal mining taking place in many places of the world, not just in Nova Scotia or in our own United States. So I started seeing if I could make the movements correspond to the movements of the rhythm of this song. And it worked pretty well. So I'd like you to learn the gestures. That's the movements of the arms. And then later we'll do it standing. And those of you who would like to do it standing with us can join us standing. But you can certainly do it without ever having to stand at all. So Jane and Shironi will join me in terms of the movements. So the first of all, the Japanese kind of style is to keep your palms very flat and open, and almost as if they were the shovel itself. So you're just going to go shovel or dig, and then the other side. Let's try that again. Dig and dig, dig and dig. Good. Now the next part is after you've dug up the coal, you throw it over your shoulder into a cart. So this is the movement. Keep your hands flat and open, throw it 4 times, and 3 and 4. Let's combine those. And dig and step, and dig and step. Throw the coal, and throw, and throw, and throw, then just stand. Now you're going to take your hands like this, and you're going to push a heavy cart of coal forward, slightly to the diagonal. 1, 2, pushing it toward the entrance of the mine, and 4. Now when you hit the entrance of the mine, you are blinded by the sunlight, having been in darkness. So you shield your eyes, you come down, you shield your eyes to the other side, come centered. Then there's a little bit of a kind of little piece rhythmically. You cross your arms, come out, and clap, and then you cross your arms the other way and clap. Now if you are standing, you'll go rock, rock, clap, rock on your left, right, clap. Then you do a little clapping pattern, clap, clap, clap. Then the whole thing starts again. Let's try it one more time. If you want to try your feet, and the 2 women in the back will do their feet just in place, and they'll add it standing. Here we go. And dig, and step, and dig, and step. Throw the coal, the coal, the coal, the coal, and the cart. Now push, 2, 3, 4. Blind and protect your eyes. Protect your eyes. Now rock and clap, rock, rock, clap, and clap, 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 clap. And that's it. So it works pretty well to the song. I just had to add a little pause here and there. But for the most part, it's universal. Coal mining, what the coal miners do, and the sadness of their situation and the protections that we have in place for the miners. All right, we're going to do it.
In the town of Spring Hill, Nova Scotia, down in the dark of the Cumberland mine, there's blood on the coal and the miners lie in the roads that never saw sun or sky, in the roads that never saw sun or sky. In the town of Spring Hill you don't sleep easy, often the air will tremble and roll. When the earth is violent, miners die. Bone and blood is the price of coal. Bone and blood is the price of coal. Bim bidim bim 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 bidim bim 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 bidim bidim. 12 men lay 2 miles from the pit shaft. 12 men lay in the dark and sang. Long hot days in the miner's tomb. It was 3 feet high and 100 long. It was 3 feet high and 100 long. 8 days passed and some were rescued, leaving the dead to lie alone. Through all their days they dug their grave. 2 miles of earth as a marking stone. 2 miles of earth as a marking stone. In the town of Spring Hill you don't sleep easy. Often the air will tremble and roll. When the earth is violent, miners die. Bone and blood is the price of coal. 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 Bone and blood, bone and blood, bone, blood, bone.
Well, we've come to the end of our 4th workshop on fire, completing earth, water, air, and fire. Our next workshop is going to be on the last Sunday of December, on December 27th, a Sunday again, from 4 to 5:30. It will be our last one. We're not doing them in the spring. We just did 5 in the fall to uplift our spirits. So what I'd like to do now is read to you a quote that I just love. It's advice from a volcano. Stay active. Keep your inner light burning. Go with the flow. Be uplifting. It's all a matter of time. Have a blast. I just love that. So think of the volcano and its advice to you as you go forward. And I'd also like to remind you of the candle. In yoga, namaste means the light within me, and it greets, when I see you, the light within you. So that's one way that we light candles within each other and strengthen each other, is to really greet each other and see each other as being valuable and being present and being part of this world. So let's end in the traditional way that we do in yoga. Usually we put our hands upward and we place them on our knees. If you want, you can make a circle with your thumb and forefinger, the forefinger's under the thumb, the other 3 fingers are out. You place them on your knee or in your lap, and this is called Guyana Mudra. It is the mudra that reminds us of our unity with all things, all people, all the energy, the universe. So we say the word Om, which is meant to be an enlightened word, a sound that unifies all of us. So take a big breath in, and then with me, you'll say Om. Breathe in. Om. Then I say Shanti.
Shanti.
That means peace. Have peace within and take peace with you. Then I make my hands like this. I say Namaste.
Namaste.
And then I acknowledge something larger than myself, whatever that is for you, certainly the world and the universe. And then I acknowledge my own kindness and loving heart. And then I make a fist with my left hand, cover it with my right. At my solar plexus, I honor my inner teacher. And that's the person we've been talking to this whole time, your inner teacher. So our next workshop will be on metals, wood, and minerals. And it's going to be the last Sunday of December to end the year. It is Sunday, December 27th, 4 to 5:30, our last one. We committed to 5. And this is the last grouping of elements that we're honoring. So I hope we see you then. It's been a great joy to share with you. Remember, use your imagination. Namaste.
Namaste.